Nicole Chanis with 50's AF podcast coming at you. New studio location, same place, just a different room. Miss you guys. So today I have the great pleasure, and it's kind of a funny story how we met. We'll get there, but let's welcome Lenny Block as my guest. Welcome, Lenny.
Thank you, Nicole.
Like, it takes a lot of balls to be here. I got to give you a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, asked me and I said, yes, that's fine.
I know. So we met the first time. I was out with a bunch of girls that I started like this girl group. Was it me? Was it me? I don't like saying
it was
Warren.
Warren.
Was it, where was the first place we met?
Warren.
It was Warren. Okay. So.
Yeah, you came up to me.
Yeah. So I was trying to show the girls as they're all huddled in this spot. Yeah, literally huddled in one spot. Like, okay. Guys don't necessarily feel comfortable walking up to a group of women. I mean, it's intimidating. Like if you see a woman and she's with all these girls, it can be intimidating. So I was trying to teach them like, hey, why are you just sitting here waiting for guys to walk up to you? Let's go walk up to guys. And so I did that, and you were one of the group of guys I walked up to, and you immediately were like, that's so refreshing, And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like, is that rare to have a woman walk up to you or you walk up to them?
Normally, I walk up. If I see somebody, catches my eye, I walk up and say hello.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely nice that somebody comes up and talks to you too. You know.
But is it rare that a woman will do that?
Rare, yes. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's usually like some kind of signal.
Oh, really? What's a signal? Like, is it like a little head nod at each other, acknowledging?
I mean, some are subtle about it, and some are like blatantly obvious about it.
Yeah. Yeah, living in Boca, we have some pretty blatant people.
Yeah.
I was out to dinner the other night, and there was this girl. I've seen her do the circuit, and blonde, 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 tan, 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 and like rhinestones everywhere, and it's just like. It's sometimes it's sad, when you see some of the men and some of the women. I've had like such drunk guys come up to me, and I'm like, that's so unattractive to get that drunk. And I mean, have you had to endure the like sloppy drunk girls hitting on you?
No, I don't.
Wait a minute.
No, I don't think.
Do you think you give off this aura of like, hey, I'm a cool, low key guy? I mean, what do you mean?
I don't really think I give off an aura at all. I kind of do my own thing, and if something presents itself, it does. But I'm not out there seeking,
Yeah. Well, you go to the right places. You go to all the right places.
Not really. I mean, I kind of stick pretty close to home.
Yeah.
I don't really venture that far out.
So
unless I want a good steak or something.
Yeah. Where do you like going? Where's the best steak for you?
My favorite place was a place one of my guys at Starbucks recommended in Plantation called Vignetos. And I've been there probably about 10 times.
Really? I've never heard of that.
It's the best steak I've ever had. He wasn't lying. And we have New York Prime, Gallagher's, Meat Market, Eddie V's, Abe and Louie's. And it blows them all away.
Really?
Not even in the ballpark.
Okay, well, we're going to have to figure that shit out. Nicole's going to have to try it because she likes a good steak twice a month.
Oh, well, then it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
How do you like your steak done?
Medium rare. It's
only way.
Blasphemy anywhere else.
Oh, wait, I don't understand this well done shit.
I don't either.
Like,
you kill the steak.
You're killing it, and it's like, bleh, it's like got no moisture. It's dry. And so, okay, would that be... Okay, so if I'm dating and I see a guy ordering a well-done steak.
It's done. You're like, I can't date this guy.
Seriously, I mean it, right? Isn't it like for you with the girl? Like it's those subtleties of stuff.
I'm not that particular.
No, but it is there. Like there's a saying, don't sweat the small stuff. But I do think it is the small stuff in dating that can add up. Like if you're really neat and you're dating somebody that isn't, I don't know, are you neat? Are you OCD? What are you?
I'm definitely not OCD.
Uh-huh.
I tend to like to keep my home clean.
Yeah.
And my closet a mess.
Why do you keep your closet a mess?
It's just my comfort zone. It's like, that's my place, and it's always going to look like a tornado hit it.
So I don't want to say who it is, but so someone in my life had really bad ADD, but has. And, you know, you walk into that person's room, it looks like a bomb went off. But I learned it's called organized chaos. That person knows where every single thing is. They're on top, right? So you could be, you know.
I have that too.
Yeah.
I tell you where everything in my house is.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of that. Right now, I'm in between places. Oh my God, I'm literally living like probably equivalent to a college student's first place. I'm living like in a shitstorm right now because I'm bought a condo and like totally demoing it. So I'm literally living in boxes. I kid you not. It's like, it's driving me crazy because I'm a little OCD. And so, like, for someone like me to be living in this shitstorm, even the mattress, it's uneven. You roll off the mattress. I'm like, how much worse can it get? And the TVs are like...
You know, I have to tell you about the mattress thing.
Yeah.
I went out and I bought, like, a new mattress, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I only sleep on one side of it.
Right.
So one side's, like, completely broken in, and the other side's still stiff and brand new.
You got to flip that shit. Okay, it's funny you talk about mattress. So, like, if I start dating somebody and we're, like, serious, I mean, we've been dating months. We're, you know, we've already said the L word, whatever, you know. I have this thing. I don't want to sleep on a mattress that another girl's been on.
I understand.
You do? You do understand?
Sure.
A lot of guys are like, that's kind of fucked up. No? You get that?
I get it. I mean, I don't know that it would bother me.
Right.
But
I don't know.
I get it.
I don't know. Or like I'm at a guy's place and like, you know, you start getting like draw space and like there's other lipstick or cream from leftover from his last girl's relationship. Like, do you ever okay, let me back up a second. How long have you been single?
Oh God, 11 years.
Okay. Have you had a long-term relationship during those 11 years?
Oh.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
Oh, I could tell you exactly why that is.
Okay, do tell.
Well, I've had 2 long-term relationships in my life. One 5 years, one 13 years. Mm-hmm. 5-year relationship was fantastic, you know.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s. It was great. I mean,
no care in the world.
No care in the world. I mean, we gelled. It was great. Okay. My marriage, I mean, I don't think there was a lonelier time in my entire world than my marriage.
In what sense?
Well, I mean, it was no anything together.
So what made you get married?
I mean, we started out as friends. Mm-hmm. I guess I liked her more than she liked me.
Oh.
And I suffered a pretty serious injury after. And then when I suffered the injury in the hospital, she's like, oh, don't worry, now I'm with you. So I really didn't know what she meant like that, but, you know.
What did she mean, I'm with you?
Huh?
What did she mean?
Well, that she was, you know.
Going to be there for you.
Yeah, no, that she, you know, now she wanted to date me.
Oh.
Yeah, so, yeah, it wound up being 13 years of complete and utter loneliness.
It's very interesting to hear that. You know, I think a lot of people think if you're in a relationship, you're fulfilled. And, you know, just because you're physically with somebody, and you're not the first person to say this to me. I've had several men tell me that their loneliest time was, and lack of sex as well, was in their marriage.
Yep.
You know, and
I never strayed either.
So I give you kudos on that. My theory is even dating, like if I can't trust you dating, we don't belong together. Like meaning that like if you could just be honest and be like, okay, I'm done. There's no future. Why cheat? Just say, you know what? I'm not feeling it. This isn't going anywhere. Like marriage is a little different in that respect, but dating, like I feel like why cheat? Like in our 50s dating, like why would I cheat? I would just end the relationship, but people cheat while they're dating. And I don't understand that mentality.
I don't understand either. I've been dating since God, my mid-teens, and never desired to cheat on anybody. And the second that thought crossed my mind, like, you know, I'm starting to think about, I ended. Just over.
Exactly. That's the way it should be. See, guys, girls, this is the way it should be. You're not feeling it. Women's intuition, such a real thing. You need to listen to that shit. And I say that all the time. I say, like, look at my kids. They'll tell you women's intuition works, you know, every time. I wonder if dads get this. Now, you have kids still. Okay.
I do.
And when I say still, I mean like young. And as opposed to me, I have adult kids. And first, I just want to finish the intuition thing. So, like, I wonder if dads ever have it that are single, okay? Because now my kids will say, "Yeah, Mom, you kind of, your gut was always right on." Like when they were young, they were like, "Ugh, Mom," you know. But what is it like? Do you ever have an intuition with your kids as a dad, like women have as a mother? Do you think?
On what level? Like,
I know something's, like, I can look at or hear my kid and know something's wrong. And I can tell.
No.
I think it's a woman thing.
No, because you know what? I mean, I have a pretty good co-parenting relationship with my ex.
Which is great.
You know, we're amicable. And I could tell you firsthand that neither one of us have been able to pick up on if there's been an issue with, you know, with something our kid might be going through.
Ah, interesting. So speaking of kids, I have to ask you, what is it like dating in your 50s, having kids? Like, what? How do you? There's so many things there.
I don't date that much.
Okay.
I really don't. I've had like a comedy of things that have just pulled me out of the dating scene one after the next. And it forces you to kind of get to know who you are when you spend a lot of time alone. So, I mean, I got to a point where I'm like, I'm really comfortable alone. I enjoy being alone, you know, and for me, it's like, unless somebody comes into my world that turns it upside down and I want to be around her more than I want to be around me, you know, I'm totally cool with the status quo and not being out that much.
You know, there's a lot to unpack in what you just said, and I want to like cover and go back a little bit. You know, I love being by myself.
No, it's great. It's a great thing.
I don't know whether it's because I'm an only child kind of thing, but I've always had to be fiercely independent. It's called survivor mode. It's a whole different thing. But so I'm even in my marriage with my late husband, we did our own thing. Like I need me time, and I do. And
you're an introvert.
Would I be doing this if I'm an introvert?
Yes.
How so?
Everybody has it where they think extrovert means that you're a social person, and it's not. An extrovert is somebody who gets their internal fuel by being around people, and an introvert is somebody who gets their internal fuel by being alone.
I never really knew that.
Yeah. So
really,
yeah,
because it is like a fuel.
Yeah.
Like I'm like sometimes. I'm at my happiest just being with my dogs and like eating a salad for dinner, whatever. Like I need that downtime.
And I find that, you know, as much as like I want to go out and I want to meet people and stuff like that, you know, I can't do that aggressively. I mean, I have friends of mine, they're like, oh, I got a date today, I got 2 tomorrow, it's like, dude, how? I don't get it.
I don't get it.
It's like, because that's a lot of work. Yeah. I mean, you got to meet some, you know, within 5 seconds of meeting somebody, you're usually like, oh my God, get me the fuck out of here. You know?
Oh my God, that raises something. Hold on. Let me find this in the notes that you just said before we go any further. Yes, I have notes and I'm trying to find something So, what's the first one? You just nailed it, and that's why I want to like say it right now. So there's this thing, it's called the 3-6-9 month rule. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Okay. So
I'm not very organized in this.
I know, like, okay, well, I do my research and talk. So
this is a new one for me.
The 3-6-9 rule, okay, we're going to do that first, is an informal guideline that some people use when they start a new romantic relationship. It's divided into 3 phases. Okay, the first 3 months, you're getting to know each other. I think 3 months is generally...
Yep.
Do you think like you can kind of get to know someone at our age with our history and, you know, past relationships?
It depends. Like if you're seeing somebody, you know, 3-4 times a week,
yeah,
you know, right off the, you know, I think, yeah, you can get to know somebody in 3 months. I do too. Especially, you know, we're older. It's not like we're young and trying to figure out who we are. You know, we're all in our 50s. You know, we're set in our ways. We know who we are. At least we better. You know.
I don't think everybody knows. I mean, I talk about this often that, you know, women that are coming out of a divorce or coming out of being a widow.
That's a learning curve for sure.
Yeah. So I'm talking to people that need to learn to love themselves again a lot of times.
Yeah,
and
you got to figure out who you are without the person in your life.
Correct. If you don't love yourself and you don't know your purpose and have a purpose, I don't think you can have a successful relationship. I think men are not necessarily, well, there's some men that are attracted to a hot mess because they want to be the savior. The wounded, they want to take care of the wounded bird. There are men like that, you know.
I find, if I don't mind me interrupting.
No, please.
But I find that somebody who likes a hot mess is typically a hot mess themselves. 100%. Okay? Because energy attracts energy.
Yes,
so if you're a total mess in a project yourself, you're going to find that really attractive in somebody else, I would think.
I think so.
Not just in the same way that if you're really grounded,
yes,
you know, you're not going to want a project. You're going to want somebody who's grounded.
Yes.
It's energy begets energy.
Right. I agree. And I think to that point, that's why, like, you know, I talk about in, you know, my journey after becoming a widow and everything I had to go through in different relationships. At the end of the day, part of it was I realized, like, you know, that I had to have a sense of purpose. I need to have direction. I needed to have I in my sentence, not them. And that's this is probably more for women. I think that, you know, when you were married or, you know, when you were married, you were a couple. And I think you come out of that after a divorce, especially after being a widow, you might have been a caregiver. You're a hot mess. I mean, you know, probably.
Listen, I mean, losing somebody that you love and that you're connected to is got to be the most brutal thing that I can think of. That being said, in some ways, I think divorce is possibly even worse. And I'm going to explain why, because I saw the look on your face just now. Yeah. But you know, when you're married to somebody and you lose somebody, okay, yes, you got a huge adjustment with your kids and you've got a huge adjustment with yourself. You're deeply connected to this person or whatever. I mean, but you're still connected with their families typically. Okay. Okay. In divorce, it's like somebody who's still alive no longer wants anything to do with you. And in a lot of cases, hates you with a passion. Okay. And their families, you divorce their families too.
Yeah.
They hate you. And it's, you know, not saying all families are like that, but I'm just saying that, you know, a bad divorce could be, you know,
even worse in that sense. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I didn't mean it.
I get what you're saying 100%. Because I mean, when I got divorced, my first husband, I really had the confidence that I didn't care who he was with or my late husband's ex-wife. I came from the perspective of let's all be a village and be together. Now, my late husband's ex-wife was all on board. She came over for holidays and and it was cool. And then you have this other part of the family that's like, no, we don't want to blend. Flash forward, I have a kid getting married. And it's like, okay, this person's getting married. We have the other child. we can't do that on-off every year kind of bullshit anymore. We all have to climb in and be like, let's play friendly, which, by the way, it's been so many years. I have no problem with it. But I think you have to always put the kids first in those situations. And when you're talking about a divorce, you know, losing that family connection with who you got divorced and that support, you know, everybody just needs to think through how it's affecting the children. And, you know, they're, in essence, I don't like to say this, but it's almost like they're the luggage that comes around. And some people need to take a step back and remember that, you know, hey, think about how this is affecting them and not be so caught up in you.
Oh, I've seen so many kids totally messed up.
Yeah.
Because the parents are so gung-ho on trying to hurt the other that they use the kid to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you don't make an adult problem a kid problem. And you definitely don't use your kids
as a weapon.
As a weapon. Because the only ones you're really hurting is your kids.
Right. No, it's so true. Yeah. But here's what you don't expect. You just said in a divorce. In my situation, which I'm just recently talking about, I haven't, but as a widow, taking care of somebody that had a terminal disease. His family was not there for me. They did not rally behind me. They were out of state. I can count on 2 fingers, literally, the amount of times they would come out and visit. In the whole time he was like really sick, to the point where one sibling questioned 2 weeks before he passed, like to a best friend that lived near me, is Nicole really, is it really the best? She's being dramatic. I'm like, your sibling is dying, and 2 weeks later did die. And it's like the drama I went through unnecessarily through this family. Now, with that said, there was one blood sibling and his family that was good for me and good to my children and me, but they made it a living hell. Like, it was like, instead of thanking me, they literally would say something like, oh, we thought you would leave him. I'm like, no, that's what marriage is. We were together 16 years. I'm like, you know.
Now, one of the vows in sickness and in health.
Right. I'm like, he thought I would bounce because he's sick. No. So it can cross over. That toxic family bullshit does cross over, you know, honestly. So it can be that way. And, you know, that's a whole conversation in and of itself. But I'm just throwing it out there so people, listen, whether it's divorce or you're taking care of a loved one, you know, talk to that extended family. Be honest. Like, I think even in a divorce, like, you know, maybe like talk to your family and be like, look, this person's in my life forever because we have kids. And like, try and navigate and always put the kids first, like you were talking about. And not everybody can do that, you know? And that's why, going back to my question, I was originally asking about navigating dating when you have kids. Like, for example, and I know we went off topic for my 369 and we'll go back there. But, you know, like, you have to, if you want to go on a date, you have to work around your schedule of when you have the kids, things like that. And do you talk to do your kids ever ask you, like, Dad, how come you're not dating? Or what do you look for? Like, how involved are your kids in your dating life?
There's a lot to unpack there.
Ooh, okay.
So first of all, when I first got divorced, we had, you know, my kids were super young. So
how young were they?
3 and 5.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mine were
just turned
7.
Just turned 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, young.
And I, at that very moment, I was like, okay, I'm already missing out on 50% of their growth and development.
Yeah.
When I have my kids, I'm not dating.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't. To this day, you know, I mean, maybe I'll go out maybe once if I have my kids, even though they want nothing to do with me at the moment. But I won't. I really have not meshed the two together. And my kids, you know, when I was first single for like the first few years, they would be like, I don't want you to date, you know, I don't want you to do that. And then I'd be like, oh, you don't have to worry about that, you know. But my older daughter, oh my God, I would be, you know, I am a single dad, you know, trying to figure out, you know, what kind of diapers should I get my daughter who's significantly smaller than the typical, kid? Do I still get the 2 T's or the, So I asked somebody, Daddy, are you dating her? It's like as loud as she could, right in front of her. I'm like,
oh my God.
No, honey, Daddy's not dating her. I mean, it's funny.
It is cute. It is cute.
Go to the doctor's office and, what floor would you like to go on? 4, please. Daddy, you dating?
Oh in my the God. Elevator? Where do you think that came from? That she was. No, do you think she wanted you to be with someone?
Well, now it's different. Yeah. Now, Daddy, you're so nice. Why aren't you dating someone? But their mom's engaged, and they're living under his roof, and he's a good guy.
Good.
And I think that kind of turned them, and my daughter's to a point. It's like I won't let her near my phone because she'll go on the dating apps and start swiping right and left from me. No, yes.
Oh my God, has she ever done it? And you had to backtrack that shit. Like somebody thinks you're interested, and they go.
Well, no, I get a match. I'd be like, how what?
Or she literally goes on your phone and does that.
Yeah, she literally goes on my phone and does that. Okay, and the funny thing is. Yeah, I have to be careful. She'll read my text messages. I was like, you're not going on my phone anymore. No way.
Oh, my God. I can't
How would you like if I went on your phone and started reading your text message? You wouldn't do that, Daddy. Why? You're doing it to me.
Oh, do you know back in the day, so my kids are older, and, cell phones, everything, social media was just starting. So back then, I remember I put their cell phones, on it would turn off at a certain time. For homework. I was strict. I was a really strict ass mom. I really was. Very loving, never raised my voice, but my son was punished almost every weekend with me because he was a menace. He thanks me now. But, so on the cell phone, I would get a transcript of their text messages. I have no idea if that shit's available anymore. But yeah, I mean, if I did. I wanted to make sure shit was okay. I don't know, maybe a little overkill, but
it's a little overkill.
A little overkill, but it was first coming out, that shit. So
yeah.
It was a little different. You want to kind of keep a tab on that and make sure they're doing okay.
I mean, I definitely try to educate and say, don't communicate with people online. You don't know who they are. Yeah. A lot of them are groomers and pedophiles.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. But I don't know. My parenting style is more like, when I first became a parent, it was more like, okay, I think I can be a great teacher, and then after a while you realize you're not the teacher, nobody has to teach a kid how to be a kid, but you have to learn how to be a parent,
Mm-hmm.
So, I as a parent, who just wants the best for my kids, I just try to show up, be there, let them know that they're loved, and basically try to nourish who they are. I don't want to control them.
Yeah. No, I get you. Like
when I was younger. I mean, I'm a musician. When I was younger, my dad was so dead against me. They do drugs, they do this, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, yeah, you really did good on stopping me on a lot of that stuff. No, my point that I'm trying to make is that, I resented my father because I kind of had this block. If I do this, then it's going to make my parents unhappy. Mm-hmm. My daughter, she loves theater and Broadway and stuff like that. And, whatever we could do, if we see it makes her smile and gives her a little glow, why would I not want to nourish that in my daughter?
I agree.
I
agree. So my connection to my son is music. When I learned I was having a son, I was like, how the hell am I going to connect with a boy? I don't know anything about. And so early on, I have a picture with him in diapers, a yarmulke on, must have been Hanukkah, and he's on the little drum set, got him. So he's always been into music. So when I got divorced, I really honed in on that. Got him Led Zeppelin, Who, Stones, introduced him, got him his first of many guitars, took him to all of the first concerts, like Mumford Sons, the best concert, this was the best, freshman year of college. Took him to third row seats, Dead & Co. with John, oh my gosh, I just forgot his last name. John Mayer.
Okay.
Oh my God. Because I love the Grateful Dead. So like looking at his eyes, and they were just so bright. Like he would have loved to go into music.
John Mayer is playing with the Dead?
Oh my God. Well, not the Dead. Dead and Company.
Obviously.
Yes.
But
You've got to see it. Like it's awesome. Like, I mean, but seeing that look in your child, like the spark, it's priceless, you know, when you can bond and have that inertia like you're talking about.
Right.
So going back to your daughter, going through your phones and dating, like things.
My younger one. My older one, a little bit. Not like the younger one.
But you also said, like, you haven't had any long-term relationships.
You know, I still, to this day, I still have that PTSD from my marriage. Like if I would try to communicate, you know, everything would be shut down. And so I mean, I look for things, and the 3-day rule, I mean, that does not pertain to me. I'm not easy, you know, because
the 3-month rule, you mean?
No, the 3-day rule.
Oh, the 3-day rule.
You know what the 3-day rule is? Yeah,
yes.
Of course. But no, even that, it's like, because I don't want my judgment to get clouded.
We know what the 3-day rule is. Tell the audience what the 3-day rule is.
Oh, you have to get intimate, you know, and
third date.
Third date.
I'm telling you, like men and women, third date. It's like this. Where did that come into play?
You know what?
Okay, third date. Okay, we're getting it on. You know.
No, first of all, you know, everything evolves at its own pace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't put a time frame on that. You know, I could look at something like, wow, she's really beautiful, and my thoughts can run awry. You know, but I'm not going to give into those thoughts out of the one fear that I have, which, holy shit, I'm going to wind up getting stuck for 13 years again. You know.
So is it that?
So I'll hold back until I'm like, okay, I could see this person potentially being like, you know, part. And I the other thing is I freak out about the prospects of hurting somebody. I don't want to hurt anybody.
That's very sweet.
You know, no, because you know you get there and then you're like, okay, this was a mistake. You know, right. Like, oh boy.
So if I could sum up, what you're basically saying is like, and I agree, if you go into intimacy too fast before getting to know a person, it's like, is the connection based on the great sex versus the relationship?
It's like when the endorphins die down, what's left?
What's left? What is left? And I think it's
I want
really,
the endorphins to keep rising.
Right.
You know,
right.
If it takes more than 3 dates, you know, and you're to that point, then, you know, maybe the endorphins keep going.
Right. Do you believe dating in our 50s shit moves a lot faster?
I think people are a lot less patient. You know, I mean, you know, that's like the biggest thing I noticed from my 20s to my 50s. Mm-hmm. And my 20s, we did the chasing. Okay.
Yeah.
In my 50s, it's completely the opposite way.
Is it because there's so many, especially living in Boca, like single women? Like
I don't know. Maybe it's that I don't know. I can't really answer that question. I find that women do more of the chasing.
I do too.
In a desperate way. It's not like I understand what a woman felt like to be aggressively pursued when they didn't want to be pursued.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because and I never saw that in my 20s, but I see it in my 50s.
Yes.
And it's such a turnoff.
Yes.
It's a turnoff.
Yeah. You know, I'll be out and like, I'll be with a girlfriend and, you know, guys will be like, I think they have this thing of, can I buy you a drink? Does buying a drink mean I'm obligated to just talk shit and just be with you? I will just very nicely say thank you, but I'm good, because I don't want to be like there are women that will take that drink.
I don't use that as the pickup line. I just, you know.
No, you were, when I met you the first time, and after, you know, I brought the girls around the bar and like talked to them, you came back around to me and you were like, hey, that was really cool. Love to get to know you. And then, so the second time we met was a few
Well, I also have a thing for brunettes, so.
Oh, you have a thing for brunettes?
Oh, totally.
So I find in Boca, this is really funny, there's a few of us brunettes. We all look the same, okay?
Yeah, and so I'm going to find every one of them attractive.
So literally it's 6 degrees of separate. Oh, yeah, I dated him. Oh, yeah, I know him. It's just like this group of women that were Jewish and we're the same age, literally by a year, and we all have long brunette hair. It's comical, actually. It actually is, when to find it that way. And then, I think it's interesting to sit back and sometimes just observe the shit that goes on at the bar. I find it like, I just want to get some popcorn out and just like have a good time watching the bullshit.
And I'm like totally oblivious to it. Like I take myself out by myself all the time.
Yeah. The last time I saw you were just by yourself and I turned around. I'm like, hey, I know you.
I enjoy being out by myself. I'd rather be out by myself. Right. Enjoying my own company than on a first date with somebody that I met on a dating app. That's just the truth.
Right.
Now,
what's your impression of a woman sitting at the bar by herself?
I don't think twice about it. I actually look at that and say she's probably really grounded, and comfortable in her own skin and shoes. And, that's not a deterrent for me at all.
Some guys would disagree. Some guys say she's so desperate she's waiting for. They'll say like, but watch her.
But that's the thing. I go when I'm out by myself. I'm not out scouring the bar on who's my next date.
Right.
I'm just out having a meal or a drink by myself, whatever. I don't care at all if somebody winds up being there that I talk to or not. I care less.
What is your favorite, or do you have a favorite first date process?
No. I mean, I think most people think that, loosen up a little bit, go out, have a drink, I mean, if I'm out with somebody and we're having drinks, I'm always going to say, hey, you want to get a bite to eat too? Even if I don't like her,
You're a gentleman.
And I'm hungry, so
basic instinct of life. I need to eat.
Exactly.
And we eat intermittent. We're both intermittent eaters,
right? Like my first meal, like if you ever see me, I'm on geriatric time. I go out at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm hungry. I'm not there to pick somebody up. Everybody there is a geriatric. I'm out there because I'm hungry. Okay.
So I break mine at 3 with blueberries.
Okay.
That's how I break mine. I mean, you can't, and that's the other thing with dating, like going out and stuff like that. If you have, I don't like calling it a diet. It's a way of life. I do anti-inflammatory and people are like, oh, just eat this bread. And I'm like, I feel sometimes pressured. Like men don't like seeing me not eat certain things. It's because it's my health. It has nothing to do with my figure. Who cares
what other people think?
Well,
if you're comfortable with something and someone's going to judge you, fuck them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I'm just going to finish up because you have so much to talk about. Okay, the second 3 months, I just want to get this in.
Oh, yeah.
You build a deeper connection. So so you're now 6 months in. So first 3 is like learning to get to know each other. And then 3 months longer, you build a deeper connection.
Yeah, well, I think everything comes out within the first 3 monts.
I'm not sure yet.
I think that after 3 months, I don't put a facade on. I mean, I am who I am all the time.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that when some people start to get comfortable with you, that their persona completely changes.
Oh,
it's like, why would you just not show that from day one? That was going to come out regardless. Well, don't you want to meet somebody that likes that rather than what you just showed for the last 3 months?
But like in 3 months, I wouldn't, in my situation, introduce somebody to my kids, or family, hypothetically. So it could go longer than 3 months because what if their kids are a freaking nightmare drama situation that's going to be forever, or the family dynamics are bad. So on that note, I think it does go a little past 3 months. You're not fully learning everything.
Now you're expanding.
Yeah,
so that's why I like
this 6 months. Yeah, so I think part of that, I think you do need a little bit longer than 3 months. And then the third 3 months is deciding if that relationship has long-term potential. And so I do agree that, you know, as much as I think dating in our 50s, you know, we do go faster. I mean, we do, because we've been there, we've done it. And hopefully, if you are emotionally available, you've done the work, you love yourself, and all these things are in place, you can like literally know what you want in a person versus there's need and want. We're not always going to get everything off that checklist. And I think that's the difference between dating in your 20s versus, you know, 50s, is also being realistic about that checklist. Like, listen, I even came out personally, talked about all these rules that I personally had in place about they must and you know what, when I just said screw it, I'm gonna just concentrate on my shit, I'm not gonna date right now, I'm taking a break. You know, I met somebody that broke every rule that I had, and it was great. But, you know, so you have to be really in touch with yourself. And I think dating in your 50s, you know, for men and for women is, you know, emotionally available. And it does mean being authentic, but you also have to be true, I think, to what you must have in that relationship versus what I would like. Now, to everybody, absolutely, that's different, you know. And I think we're able to identify it faster in our 50s because we've kind of unfortunately had a divorce or lost somebody.
See, I think that when you're with, like let's say I met somebody and I'm like, oh my God, she is just great. She gets me, blah, 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 right? But there's two dynamics that go with any type of relationship, okay?
Two dynamics.
The first dynamic is what I'm feeling toward her.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first date. We're talking about the first date?
No. And talking about relationship in general.
Okay.
The second dynamic is, and she could like you just as much as you like her, what does she bring out in you? Because everybody's going to bring out a different portion of your personality, you know? Yes. So you have to be like, okay, I love being around her, but do I like who I am with her?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You said that so well. That is so true, guys. Who am I with this person?
Yeah.
Do they bring out the best in me?
Right.
My best version.
If they're not going to be the best version of you, then you're with the wrong person no matter how electric it is.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And I think, you know, I don't hear a lot of people say that. And Lenny, that was like, you nailed it. Like, if that person doesn't bring out the best in you, then you're not good for each other.
Alone's better.
Alone is better.
Yeah.
Alone is better. And you're not going to believe that. That we are out of time.
Oh.
I know. So honestly, I'm sorry, Lenny has to come back because like there's your wealth of knowledge, you're grounded. I love your perspective. And I think like we just talked about some, obviously nothing that I even had on my notes because that's Lenny and we can go that way. And I so appreciative of you coming on, and I hope you would come back and we can go on some other subjects because I love how you keep it real. And for the audience, you know, you're hearing a guy-girl version of things. I find with Lenny, it's not like a banter the way you and I talk. It's like we really are unraveling the emotional aspect of our relationship and talking about the heart and who we are as a person and more grounded than the lust. And there's so much more. Yes, in our 50s, things go faster and there are things you have to acknowledge, but you and I are like very much on the same wavelength, which isn't always, a lot of men aren't there, Lenny. I think you're more advanced than a lot of the single men's here in Boca. I'm just being honest. I'd be curious how many people hit you up after this gets aired.
It's funny.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for being here today, and I hope you'll take an invitation to come back.
Sure.
Oh, you said that.
I'll come back.
Yeah,
I'll come back.
You'll come back?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So this is Nicole Chanis, and we have a lot of things changing and going on, and stay tuned, stay connected, 50s AF podcasts. Watch, listen, whatever is best for you, and hope everyone is enjoying, learning, and tuning in and having more success getting ready for dating in your 50s as well as going through the process. So thank you so much, you guys. Have a good one.